welcome to the Batch Lady, where I show you how to make fast, simple, homemade meals that you can make in advance, put in your freezer and use whenever you want. And welcome again to my breakfast series that I'm still doing. And I love doing different breakfasts. Yes, we all eat fast breakfast in the morning, a piece of toast or a Weetabix, but occasionally it's nice to eat a breakfast on the weekend that you've thought about in advance. Make it into a brunch so that you don't have to do lunch and breakfast. Just feed everybody about 10:30, 11 o'clock. And if you're having people over to stay and you've already done sort of an evening meal the night before and they've stayed the night, it's nice to be able to wake up in the morning knowing that you've got something already prepared. So today we are making breakfast quiche. This is a recipe I had about 20 years ago on, I think, the Isle of Mull. And I thought, what a strange thing to have is to have quiche for breakfast. I had it, loved it, have made it ever since, okay? Slightly adapted it to my own way. So here we go. So if you've ever seen my quiche recipe before, you'll know it is super easy. I like to use just roll puff pastry, and I like to use puff pastry because it's how I've always made a quiche, and I think it works really well. Now, today we are doing a 2 video in 1 because we're doing it about the recipe, about the quiche, how quick you can make a quiche, making it for your breakfast, but also, I don't know if any of you follow me on Instagram, but if you do, you would have seen that I was in Lakeland, found these silicone dishes, which are actually come in as cake tins, but we're going to give them a go as quiche dishes, because my thought behind this is if I can make the quiche, put it in the oven, then put it in the freezer, then wait till it's hard and I can pop it out, it means my quiche stays frozen without being in a pan. So I'm not wasting one of these dishes sitting in the freezer. And I'm not wasting my silicone dish either. Instead, I'm going to pop it out and be able to use my dish again. I shall let you know if it works. So stay tuned at the end of the video if you're watching this about the silicone base. I shall make sure that I tell you all about it. So what we're going to do is, I never use the ready roll stuff for this because it comes in a long rectangle, so it doesn't work for a round quiche, okay? So instead I've just used my already sort of big slab of one, and I've just rolled it out, okay? So I've already rolled it out to save time, so here we go. So you're going to make sure that you get some butter on a piece of greaseproof paper, and you're just going to rub it around your cake tin. Okay, you want to make sure that it's well greased because we want it to pop out once it's done. So just grease it all up. There we go. Let me just put that in that away. Right, then you want to get your puff pastry and you want to sit it on the top of the pan, if you can see that, and you want to make sure that it goes right down in. Use your finger rather than use the side of your finger, so you're not putting a hole in the quiche, because that's what you don't want to do, is put a hole in it, okay? You want to make sure that it's all the way around the edges. Once it's around the edges like so, take a knife and you can just cut off the excess. Now, you can make this really pretty. You can sit with a fork and go all the way around the edges and make it as pretty as you like. I like to make mine exceedingly rustic, and I've told you many times about this before, because I like people to know that it's homemade, that I have actually properly made it. Okay, so you can, I'll just trim it just slightly, but you can spend a lot more time making it as pretty as you want. But I really quite like this sort of rustic look. Don't worry if bits overlap other bits, it's not too bad. As long as it's not too thick, then it will all still cook. Okay, so you end up with your quiche dish covered, just like that. Okay, there we go. Very simple. When you're rolling it out, make sure you use some extra flour or it's going to stick to the rolling pin and to your surface. And we're done with that, so we'll just move it to the side. Okay, so in our breakfast quiche, we are going to use sausage, bacon, eggs, tomatoes, mushrooms. You can pretty much use whatever you want, okay? So earlier on today, because I'm doing a good few of these different videos, and I know I'm going to use lots of this, so I made some, I just put on a tray and cooked some sausages, some bacon, and a slice of black pudding, okay? And then I just got some scissors, just like this sausage here, and I just chopped it up. I tend to use little chipolata sausages for this, just not tiny little chipolatas, but the long, thin ones, they work perfectly, okay? So I've already cut up some tomatoes here. I've cut up some mushrooms. I've not cooked the mushrooms. I don't think they'll need cooked. It shouldn't be too bad. And I've got some grated cheese. I'm just using already grated, but you can grate it yourself if you want to. I find if I'm making lots of quiches for the freezer, I just buy a bag of already grated. So, before you put your grated cheese in, you want to get a fork and just slightly prick the base, okay? Then you're going to add some grated cheese to the base of it. just a handful, and then you're going to add in any filling that you want. Okay, so we're going to put our sausage, bacon and black pudding in, and you want to make sure that, think about it being in slices of sort of 7, so you want to make sure that everybody has a bit of everything. Okay, now when you cook this, don't overcook it when you're cooking it on the tray, because just think it's going to get cooked again, and then when it's actually in the quiche, so you just want to make sure it's just cooked. I'm going to take some mushrooms and add them. I don't cook the mushrooms first, they're going to cook just perfectly in the once you actually make the quiche. And I'm going to take some tomatoes, which I just used cherry tomatoes and quartered them. I mean, this makes a lovely slice. When you slice it, you'll see all the different colours, and it's really pretty. And the great thing is, if you think about it, when you bring this out and you reheat it, you've not got any trays, and you've not got tons of stuff going on. So if any of you have used my breakfast skillet recipe before, where you just take it out and it's like a one dish, well, this is almost exactly the same. So I've never used this dish before, so I'm going to judge, and I'm going to judge, I think, between 4 and 5 eggs. So let's just try 4 just now. I'm going to add some milk, and let me just get a towel, and I'm going to add a quick bit of salt and pepper. I won't need too much salt and pepper because there's bacon in there that's quite salty, and the black pudding as well. And all you want to do is just put your eggs in a bowl, bit of milk, and just give it a mix around, okay? Just with a fork. You just want to make sure it's all comes together. And I think I might need 1 more egg, just deciding from this. So add another egg. So when you put this in the oven, you're going to, because it's a silicone base, don't put it straight on your rack, okay? You're going to put it on a tray. So I've got a tray already ready. This is going to take about 45 minutes in the oven, and you're just going to have to check it. Leave it about 20 minutes, then put a piece of foil over the top of it. The top will cook before the inside does. Okay, so about 15-20 minutes, you're putting it on 180, and you are going to check it and put the foil over it, and then when you think it's done, you're going to have to just go in with a fork and just check. If there's any liquid in there, it means it's not done. You just need to wait till so just put your fork in and have a little look, make a hole, the hole will cover back up, so don't worry about that, and once it's done, you can bring it out. And the guidelines are really rough for cooking this, because it just depends how thick your pastry was when you did it, and what kind of dish you're using. Just pour this over the top, and let me just see. I actually can use 1 more egg. So it's quite a deep dish, this, compared to the one that I would usually use, so that's probably why. So I'll just put a tiny wee bit more splodge of milk. And you'll notice I didn't use all 6 eggs all at once, because I don't want to waste anything if I didn't need the egg. But I'm going to add that egg. Make sure all your ingredients are covered up. It's going to actually swell up as well when it's in there. And you want to take some cheese and put your cheese over the top. Guys, this is going to be amazing. We've got people coming from Ireland this weekend, big family, so I'm going to make a few of these, so I'm already ready in the morning. Okay, great hangover food as well, I'd say. Right, put it on your tray, just leave your silver foil out, just ready. Set your timer for 20 minutes so that you're ready to take it out and put your silver foil back on. Okay, so in the oven it goes. Now, this is the bit I always forget, and I'm getting much better at this. So if you are putting it in your freezer and not eating it straight away, then you are going to take it out, let it cool down, leave it in the silicone mold, wait till it's completely cool, even put it in your fridge, wait till it's cold on the countertop, and then even put it in your fridge for an hour, then put it in your freezer. Make sure it's covered. I tend to sometimes put silver foil or a cling film, and then I put it in a large Ziploc bag so that I know that it's completely going to not frost over or have any sort of freezer frost on it. Now when you take it out, I get asked this question a lot. When you take it out, you can just leave it to naturally defrost, and you can eat it cold. Everything in there is cooked, so you can eat it cold. If you want to, you can warm it up, okay? But if you warm it up, then you have to eat the whole thing. So what I quite often do is I take it out, let it defrost, and then whoever wants it, I just slice it and heat each bit up in the microwave. It generally takes about 40 seconds to a minute, depending on your microwave, and it'll be nice and warm. If you want to warm it in the oven, and you're eating the whole quiche, you can put that whole quiche in straight from frozen if you want. Okay, you can put it in straight from frozen, and it's going to take double the amount of time. So they're usually quite thick, so it's probably going to take about 50 minutes to cook. You're just going to check it once it's piping hot, it's good to go. So you can add it straight from frozen, but my main suggestion is take it out, let it defrost, and generally sort of like if you're just eating it throughout a weekend, cut slices off and heat them up, and it means whatever's not heated up, it hasn't gone to waste, okay? I think I have mentioned everything now about this quiche, breakfast quiche. I will let you see what it looks like when it comes out the oven. You can also probably see the picture of it on the thumbnail, and if you're watching this to see what the silicone base is going to do, I'm going to come back to you once it's actually frozen and I've managed to pop the base out, and we'll see how we got on with that. Thanks for watching The Batch Lady. You've been watching Breakfast Quiche with The Batch Lady. Bye! Hi guys, so it is 24 hours later and I want to show you what my quiche now looks like once it's came out of the freezer. So I wrapped this in some cling film because I wanted to see if it would come out of the tub, so therefore I'd be able to use my quiche tub over and over again. So this is my silicone from Lakeland, cost about £13, and it's called a silicone cake tub. So I just don't want to make a mess, so I'm going to wrap it again in cling film. So look at that. Dun, 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 dun. Doesn't that look amazing? And there is my Lakeland mould. It came out brilliantly. I'm going to stop making using quiche dishes and start using these instead. Okay, I need to work on the appearance a bit more. It's certainly a different shaped mould than I'm used to, so it's sort of very tall and it's came up on itself. So I shall make it pretty the next time and give it another go. But this is my breakfast quiche in my Lakeland silicone mould, and I'm really pleased with it. It's worked a treat. This is now going to get covered in some cling film to make sure that it's airtight. And then I'm actually just going to put it in a large bag. Now this bag can be used over and over again because it's not going to get dirty, but it's just going to mean that it's airtight and it's going to last a bit longer in my freezer. Okay, so this is my breakfast quiche. Just going to take it, seal it up. That's good to go back in the freezer. And this is great to go in the dishwasher, ready to use again. Thanks for watching on how I did my mould, and also for watching the breakfast quiche. Thanks very much, bye.